Welcome back. My name is Navin Reddy, and today we are going to talk about Git. In fact, from a long time, I'm planning to make videos on Git, and then I was planning to make some, curriculum or a list of topics which I'll be going to cover so that you will understand what is Git and how to use Git. But I'm getting stuck at the first point itself. How do I convince you that Git is powerful? Again, everyone talks about Git, right? If you join any company, it doesn't matter which project you're working on. People might use Git there. I mean, 80% of the project might be using Git. But then why it is so famous? And then, if you search different videos on YouTube, you will find different reasons why you should be using Git. And they all talk about this thing, the definition of Git, which is Git is a distributed version control system. Heavy terms, right? And when you look at this heavy term, sometime your mind gets switched off. We don't want to learn Git. It is so difficult. But in this video, I will not show you what is Git, and I will not show you, all the features. I want to show only one thing. Now, Git is famous for collaboration. Now, when you say collaboration, what it means? It simply means if you have multiple people working on the same project, if they want to contribute, how they will do it. Now, one of the way, in fact, when I was in my college, I do remember, Mangesh and myself, we were working on a project, and he used to do his work, and we used to upload those project, we used to upload our files on some cloud server, or we used to mail each other the Java files which we are working on. And trust me, that is not something which you want to do, right? And that's why we can use Git here, using which you can collaborate. Now, what are things we need here? So first of all, you need a Git in your system. In fact, what I'll be doing now in this video is I'll be using Eclipse and STS. Okay, so what you need is you need a GitHub account, of course, right? Now, Git is basically a system, and if you want to use that system, you can use GitHub. It is one of the website which you can use. And so you need an account. Again, it's a free account, don't worry. So you need a GitHub account. In fact, you need two GitHub accounts because we are working in collaboration, right? So what I will do is I will make a project on one account, and we will try to collaborate from the different account. Now, where do we write a code? So for that, you need IDE, right? I'll be using Eclipse. Now, I'm imagining that we have two people here. One is using Eclipse, and on the other machine, we have one more Eclipse, but unfortunately, I cannot have two Eclipse here, so I'm using an STS. Again, STS is also Eclipse, right? You can actually work on two different machines, having two Eclipse and two GitHub accounts. As you can see, I have one GitHub account here, which is Navin Reddy 20, and the another one is on Firefox. No, not on Firefox. It is on Safari, and this is my Telusko training. So we have two different GitHub accounts. One is newly created. I created this today itself, and the another one is this. This is a bit old. I'm not that I'm not that into GitHub. You can see I don't have multiple commits here. We have some more commits here. Okay, so what we will be doing first. So the first thing you need here is Eclipse, right? Now what I will be doing is I'll be getting a project here, a simple project, not a complex one, and we will write some code. Now what I want is I want the other person to also type some code and to contribute. It can be from anywhere, right? It can be from US, from UK, from India, from Bangladesh, doesn't matter. We want the data or we want the code, right? So let's get a project here. So to get a project, before that we have to confirm one more thing. Now if you want to work with Git with Eclipse, again there's also option of terminal. You can download Git Bash, or you can download Git system in your machine. Especially if you're using Mac, you already have Git, don't worry. Otherwise, if you have Linux, you can install Git. In Windows as well, you can install Git. But if you're using Eclipse, you have an option of EGit. By default, it will be there in your Eclipse, but in case if you don't find, so if you go to perspective, and if you don't find Git, make sure that you add Git in your Eclipse. How do we do that? It's very simple. Just go to help, search for Eclipse Marketplace, and here you can search for EGit. And when you search for it, make sure that you install it. In my machine, I already have that, so I don't have to worry about it. Example, if I search for, not edit, what I'm searching for. Stop it, not edit. I'm not searching for edit. I'm searching for EGit. And you have to install this tool, EGit, and it will be there in your system, maybe by default. So you can see in my system, it is already installed. Now what I will do is I will simply create a project. Okay, it's a simple project which I'm creating here. So I will say new, and I want to create a normal Java project, no web project as of now. So let's change the perspective to Java and let's create a Java project. So I will go to others. Why to others? Let's write new Java project, and I will name this project as, and you can name this project anything you want. I will say my first project. Again, you can name it anything you want, right? As you know. So I will click on next. I got this project. Let's click on finish. Now this is your project, right? And in this project, what you want is you want to type some file. Again, we'll be doing that in some time, or maybe let's create a file. I will say new class, and I will name this class as runner. And let's keep that runner class in com.telusko package. I will click on this main because I also need a main method, right? And even if it, okay, so we got a file here. Now what I want is, I want to upload this project on GitHub. Now if you're not sure what GitHub is, don't worry. Imagine I'm uploading this project on Dropbox or any cloud server so that someone else can download it. You can send a link to someone and they can download the project for you, or they will download the project and they can make some changes. How do I deploy this project on GitHub? It's quite simple. What you can do is, first of all, let me just minimize all this window. You can right click on your project and say, oh, where is that? So go to team, and there's an option of share project. So click on this. Now when you share your project, you can see it is asking for repositories, so many things. What I will do is, I will say create a new repository. Okay, so you can see we have a Git folder. Now in this, you have to create a local file. Now Git is actually a distributed version control system. Again, what is version control? We'll talk about that in one of the video. But when you say distributed, what it means is you will have a copy on your machine as well. You'll be having a local copy and a remote copy. So let's have a local copy of it. We'll say my first project as the local folder and click on finish. Oh, but you got a local file. This is not uploaded on GitHub. If you can go to my Chrome, and if I go to repository, you can see we don't have any repository which is called as my first project because we have not done that yet. How do we do that? So you have to go to your Git perspective, and here, hey, where's that thing? So I'm not able to find the option. What I will do is I will go back to my package. I will say show view package explorer. Okay, so here we have one more option. I will right click here and I will say team. And you can see there's an option of show in repositories view. If you click on this, we got our local file here, we got that file, but then how do you connect this to a server? So as you can see, there's an option of remote. Now this remote will be helpful to connect your project with the GitHub. So we'll right click here and I will say create a new remote. Oh, it's that simple. Now Git uses this keyword which is origin. Let's not talk about that. Time in, let's ignore that origin. Click on OK. Now here you have to mention your URL. Okay, so what I will do is I will go back to my GitHub. Oh, we don't have a repository here. So first thing we have to do is let's create a repository. I will say this repository as my first project, and it's your choice to have a README file here or not. Let's not put it at this time. And there's one more option of making it private. Now public is free. If you go to private, they will charge you. Okay, so let's not get into that. Let's go for free version and click on create repository. Now once you click on that, once you create a repository, now this is a blank repository, it is empty, and it will also give you a steps in case if you are using command line, but we are not using command line here. So this is your URL, which is very important. At the end you can see we have Git. So let's copy this. And this is your URL which you have to mention. The next thing we have to mention here is the username and the password. So whatever username password which you have used for Git, you have to enter that here. I've already done that for my previous project, so I'm getting that option. So click on finish. Okay, everything seems good. Now let's click on save and push, but there's nothing to push there. We got an error. Maybe you can edit some data and let's see if you're getting that. I will go back here. I don't know, I've just messed up something there. Let me just type some statement here. I will say system.out.println and I will say hello. Now let's try to push this. So once you have connected with this, let's say team and we got an option of push. Hey, we got an option of commit here. And what are the files we have to commit? So let's select all. Now this is unstaged and this is stacked, or not staged, stacked. Now when you want to upload, when you want to push, you have to make sure that everything comes in the stag state, and let's enter a message. I will say my first commit. Okay, this is not the actual way of committing messages, but then that is fine for this video. Click on commit and push. Now it will ask you in which branch. Now by default it will be having a master branch. Again, we'll talk about branch in one of the theory video. Time in, let's imagine we have only one branch. And is it the right repository? Yes. Click on next. It should work. I hope it will work. Okay, it is saying confirm following. Yes, confirm. Click on finish. Hopefully it will be done, and you can see that it is pushing on the server. This is something same like uploading some folder on Dropbox, right? Okay, I got some initial message here earlier, but ignore that. And let's go back to the project or the repository which you have created, and I hope, oh, we got our project here. That's great. And the message says first commit. So we have uploaded our project on GitHub. Now you might be thinking we are doing lots of stuff. Don't worry. Once you do this one time, I mean, when you do it for the first time, it will be very lengthy process. But then once you get addicted to this is awesome thing to work with. And you can say this is our source code. You can actually see your source code on GitHub. Can you see that with line numbers? Awesome, right? Now what I want is I want someone to contribute here. Oh, before contribution, I want to create one more file. I will say I want to create a new. Why I'm getting project option? Right click, say new. What's wrong with this? Oh, we are into a wrong perspective. Can you say it? Perspective, let's go for Java perspective. And right click, say new, and we got a class. We'll name this class as maybe a calculator. Again, I'm going for a simple example because my main idea here is not to teach you Java. My main idea is here to teach you how to use GitHub. And I will say public init or public int. There's an add method which takes two parameters, int I comma int j, and it returns I plus j. Okay, this is my method, and I want to push this one as well. Now, why you need to push this? Because if you can see in our package on the GitHub repository, we have only one file. So whenever you make changes, it's better to commit on the server. I will say team and commit. And okay, so it will show you some, so we have to push this file, calculator.java, and I will give a commit message. I will say calculator class added. Click on commit and push. Now it will push your file on the server, on the GitHub server, which is a remote repository for us. Okay, let's click on OK. And I hope if I refresh this, you will get your calculator. We got that. Can you see that? We got our calculator.java. If I open that, we got our code. Now what I'm expecting is I want someone to contribute to this project. How do I do that? So what we will do is let's go back to our STS. Now imagine this is some other machine. So you have your friend who is using STS, and in this, first of all, if you want to make changes, you have to pull that project, right? Now you can actually pull a project, but how do I do that? So there are some steps. Now the first step is, now your friend has to search for your project. So I will search for the project on GitHub. So you have to go for your different GitHub account, okay? Now this is the, if I talk about the Chrome, this is Navin Reddy 20. Okay, this is the place where I've created the repository. Now I'm going to Safari where I have a different account, which is Telusko training. Here I will go and I will search for Navin Reddy, and oh, I've not got anything on Navin Reddy. So this is Navin Reddy / and we'll mention the project name. So normally we share our project, we normally share the project link, right? You can see this is the link which you will actually share with your friend. Now what your friend will do is, now your friend has two choices. He or she can clone the project, or the best one would be you can fork the project. Now when you click on fork, it will create a copy. So it is a separate copy from your project. It is the exact copy, okay? But then this is a separate entity. Whenever you change in this project, it will not affect the original project. It says this project, which is this repository, which is my first project, which is of Telusko training, forked from Navin Reddy 20, my first project, and it will be having the same content. But then that doesn't mean if I change something in Navin Reddy now, it will reflect here. Okay, it will not directly reflect, and whatever you change here will not reflect on my repository. So what I will do now is I will go here and let's make some changes from server itself, from GitHub itself. Is it possible? Let's try it out. I will click on edit, and you can see we got the option of editing this file, and the font size is very less. Hey, how do I increase the font size here? Do we have an option? I don't think so. Let me just zoom it. Okay, so I will enter a comment here. I will say calc class. That's it. I'm added a comment here, and the moment you make any changes, I will say comment added, and we'll say commit changes. Now, whatever change you have done is only for your repository, a new repository. Because if I go back to my Navin Reddy and if I refresh, you can see changes are not reflected here, but the calc class is here in the Safari in the second account. Now let's make some coding changes, right? When you talk about coding, we actually make changes in STS, right? Or maybe in any other IDE. How do I pull this project? Oh, that's the right word, right? So let's pull that project here. So I will say import, and you can see we have an option of Git here. I will say projects from Git. Next, I will say clone URI. Next, okay, it says allow. Okay, now from where do you clone this project? So I'm cloning this project from here. So we have to mention the URL. How do I get a not URL, URI? Okay, I can take it from here. At the end, you just have to mention .get. That is important, right? Okay, this is your project. So I will say copy, and I'll paste it here. At the end, you have to make sure that you add .get. Now you have to enter your username and password. So for Telusko training, I have teluskotraining@gmail.com. The password is ********. Okay, now click on next. Now it will pull the project from your repository. Click on next, and it says it is already there. Because I'm working on the same machine, that's why it is giving a conflict. But if you have different machines, it will not give you conflict. And let me just rename the file to my project. My first project 1. Click on next, and it will say import existing. What is that? Okay. Next, and finish. Nothing to select here. Click on finish, and you will get your project here. Now this is the same project which is there on GitHub, right? If I go up, open this. If I open calculator, can you see that we also got the comment? Now this is STS, the second machine. Okay. Now let's make some changes. The first change I will make here, as I will say, if the font is visible, I will say public int sub, and here I will say int I comma int j, and let me add some extra feature, right? This is the feature which I want to add. So someone is contributing to my project, or they can use it for themselves. Okay. In fact, you can do this. You can have your GitHub account, just fork the repository, and you can download the copy of it. Now I will just make one more change in runner as well, and at the end I will say bye-bye. Bye. Okay, so I made the changes in both the files, and you can see there is an arrow here. Okay, so which means you have not committed this file yet. Okay, so once you have made the changes, okay, I want this to be reflected on my GitHub. You can do commit as well, so you can right click here. So I will say right click team and say commit. Okay, so I will zoom it. Both these files, I want to commit both these files, and the message would be updated calc and runner. Commit push. Normally we should write the entire description, right? What is happening, but then this is fine. And you can see it is getting pushed on the server side. I hope it will be done now. Click on OK. And if I go back to my Safari, if I refresh this page, you can see the file is updated in 15 seconds ago. Updated calc and runner, which is the message we have sent. If I go back to my first project, And okay, so if I open this calculator, oh, we got the feature, but this is in the second GitHub account, right? But I wanted this to be, I wanted someone to contribute to my server, to my machine, to my project, right? Because if I go back to my Chrome and if I refresh, you can see there's no update here. If I still open calculator, we got only one method. Someone has done the work, but it is not with me now. How do I merge it? Is it possible? Let's try. So let's go back to the second GitHub account. Can you see that we have option of new pull request? Now what this pull request says is, it says whoever the owner of that project, which is in this case Navin Reddy is the owner, you can send a request to Navin Reddy. Hey Navin Reddy, I have contributed some more methods or some more features to your project. Will you merge that features with your project? Okay, let's try. Let's see how to do that. So I will click on new pull request from here, and I will click on create pull request. I will name this pull request as updated project with calculator. Okay, and we can add some more comment here. What are the changes you have done? And click on create pull request. Okay, and you can see it is going for a pull request and there is no conflict. Okay, so it says there is no conflict. Normally what happens, when you are working in a group and if someone has edited the file, you have to set and you have to do that. You have to merge those changes, right? Git says, hey, don't worry. I can do most of the merging here. Now you are happy and you can say, okay, everything is done. There was no conflict. I guess merging is done. Oh, it is done, I guess. It is updated. Now, okay, I have sent the request from here, right? If I go back to my Chrome and if I refresh, hopefully it will be there. Oh, it's still not there. What is happening? We have sent the request, right? Oh, mind you, we have only sent a request. We have not accepted the request yet. So if you go to your original repository, so basically this is your first GitHub repository, and can you see that option here, pull request? If you click on this, there is an option. There's a request from someone. Can you see that there's a request from Telusko training? And if I click on here, there's an option of merge pull request. You simply have to say merge, and you just have to confirm the merge, and your merging is done. How do I know that? Let's go back to code. In fact, I got one more mail now that you have done with the merging. And if I open this project, if I open this package, if I open calculator, can you see that in our first repository, we got the updated file. So someone else has contributed to my project. And let me tell you one more time, if you're watching this for the first time, you might find it difficult, but don't worry. Once you start working on GitHub, what I would recommend is try the same step which I have done here, and trust me, you will understand how exactly everything works. But then, okay, we have not completed the project yet, because if I open my Eclipse, if I see this calculator, the changes are still not here because it is there on my GitHub server, right? How do I fetch those changes here on my machine, on my Eclipse? Oh, that's a tricky part now. So what you can do is you can just go back to you can right click here and say team, give me a repository view. This is your project. Now how do you merge this project? So do we have an option of merging? So it is done now. So the problem was you have to open your remote tracking. So if you can see branches and remote tracking, you have to right click and you have to say merge. So when I click on merge, it is working now. And if I open runner, can you see that the changes which someone else has contributed is reflecting on your project? Now this is one of the awesome things you can do in your project. So let's say if you have 1,000 people working now, they can all work on their own copy and they can contribute. This is called as collaboration. Now, who came up with this concept? So there was a person who is very famous called as Linus Torvald. As you know that Linux is open source, so anyone can contribute. There are millions of people or thousands of people, you can say, they are contributing to Linux kernel, and this is how they do it. Okay, so learning Git is very important for you. So I hope you enjoyed this session. You got to know something. We were able to merge the project. I mean, we were able to collaborate using GitHub. And if you liked it, click on the like button. So thank you so much for watching, everyone.